Perfect, perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our very first Q&A webinar of 2018. Hopefully 2017 ended with a bang for you, and 2018 is going to look brighter than that. So let's go ahead and get started with our Q&A today. You've got Glenn Buchanan on the line. My name is Andrew Newman. We're going to be spending about 45 minutes here with you and answering any questions that you have about ClickFunnels, the functionality of how a page editor works or how to set up something. If there's anything that you have related to your specific account, a issue that you're having, say, for example, you're not able to collect leads or something like that on one of your opt-in pages, and you want to know why, it's not something that we can actually dive into your specific account to troubleshoot. However, what we can do is we can show you the steps of how to set that up here on the webinar. If you did those steps and it's still giving you problems, what you'd want to do is reach out to our support team. And one of our support agents will be standing by to assist you and get you moving forward with that particular issue if it is related specifically to your account. So keep that in mind while we are doing the webinar. Those are the types of questions that become a little bit challenging for us to answer, as well as strategy questions. Any type of strategy question with relation to how to market your funnel or the best way to set up your page in order to increase conversions or whatever that might be. Those are also questions that are a little bit challenging for us to address. Now, inside of Zoom here, we do have a few attendees who will be asking questions. Those questions will be prioritized first. Simply because it is easier to manage the chat in Zoom versus the comment section here on Facebook. But if you do want to ask a question there on Facebook, you're welcome to do so. Just keep in mind that we will be answering those questions. And if we do skip over your question, it's not personal, just ask it again. We just missed it due to the nature of how the chat in the comment section there works on Facebook. So without any further ado, before we get started answering any questions, what we'll go ahead and do here is just go ahead and give a brief demonstration of how to start a split test on an opt-in page, what links to use, and then how to promote your winning variation. So in this case here, as you can see, we just have a simple page set up. We have an opt-in page as well as a control page that we've created. Now, the first step here is to create a variation of this page, which is relatively simple. We can create this from a template, or we can duplicate the opt-in page. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the page that we've already there. So the first thing I want to do is change something on my variation to test against our controls. So what we do here is open up the editor, and in this case, I'm just going to do something quite simple, which is change the color of my headline here, and we're going to go into our color picker, and we're going to pick, let's call it red. Hopefully that is red. I have a slight colorblind problem, so that might be orange, who knows. But we're just going to change the color there to that, just to see if that offers us a better conversion rate than the black title. So what we'll do here is then adjust our weight of our traffic. So in this case, we're going to go with 50-50 and then apply those changes. Now, in the case that we send some traffic to this URL here, what ClickFunnels is going to do, what the system is going to do, is it's actually going to rotate the traffic in between the control page and the variation page. Now, unique visitors are what are going to be seeing the variation. So if I were to go to this page live and then a couple seconds later just load it again in the same browser session, I'm going to see the same page because I am cookied. However, if I were to go to this page on a private browser, a different browser session, I should see a variation on the condition that that one is the one that is going to be served first. And then we can go in here and see our statistics for those specific pages. Obviously, these are not going to have any stats simply because there aren't any. We haven't sent any traffic to this particular page, but you can see here in the statistics that we can pull down the options for the two individual pages and see those stats there. So let's say, for example, we ran, say, 100 clicks, nice round number, to this page, and we got a really good metric, and say our variation is outperforming our control. What we'll want to do in that instance is simply go in and declare our variation as the winner. Right now, the system says this has a 50% confidence score simply because there have been no actions taken on it. So if we declare this as the winner, what's going to happen is it's going to actually delete this page. Keep in mind, if you do this, you're not going to be able to get this page back. You will have to rebuild it. Have no fear. It is just a basic template, so it's easy to get back. However, if you did a lot of work on that, I would definitely use caution when you do declare a winner, because it will delete the other page. So as soon as we finish that, go ahead and click that. It's going to bring us into what you had originally seen when we started the webinar, and we can start a new split test variation of that. The only difference here is our control page now has been changed, and you can see that our highest converting change has been made the control against our split test. So that's very brief, very simple steps here at the beginning of the webinar. Hopefully that gave everybody enough time to be able to queue up some questions. Glenn, tell me, do we have good news?
We do indeed have several questions coming through. On the page you're currently on, if you scroll down slightly, Drew, do you see the archived pages? Awesome. So you actually can restore the page from the archive page tab now.
Look at that. That's outstanding.
So we have a question from Ron in regards to his shared funnel squeeze page. This is something typically we would ask you submit a ticket for support. However, I did look at the URL you provided. Your button action is set to send to a URL and not submit your page. Therefore, it will not maintain the email contacts that are being added. So if you have a button set up, it needs to be set to submit the page, as Drew is demonstrating right now. And then you can put that URL that you desire in a redirect override within the settings drop-down menu. So Pete has a question. He would like to know how to swap out banner ads, images, and links on the fly for dozens of content pages at once. Do we have any suggestions for setting this up? Perhaps iframes?
So as far as banner ads go, I'm assuming that you are advertising on a page that you're using banner ads for your funnel. That's not something I have any insight on being able to do massive quantities of changes to those. Glenn, did you have any feedback you might know about that?
I also am not familiar with doing massive banner switch outs, possibly utilizing specific like image. I'm not really sure actually, because you can't save to a specific file type in our photo editor.
Right. Can
you do it with the Funnel U plugin?
I'm not sure. I would have to play with that to find out. That would be very challenging because changing out the actual source of the image inside the banner ad on like multiple pages would be what you need to do, and that would be I don't know how to do that.
Well, maybe we'll come back tomorrow or Thursday and have more insight for you. Vera would like to know, can you walk us through how to add ActiveCampaign and then use it in a lead capture page?
Oh, absolutely. So the first step will obviously be to have your ActiveCampaign set up. And then inside of ActiveCampaign, you'll need to retrieve two pieces of information. One of them is going to be the domain, and the other one is going to be the API key that they provide. Now, once you've got that information, what you'll do here, inside your integrations tab, is you can add a new integration. And you can call it AC Demo for ActiveCampaign. And then underneath your services, just simply click ActiveCampaign. Now here is where you're going to paste the URL for those two pieces of information that you're going to get from ActiveCampaign. You're going to need to place the API key here and then the API URL here. This is going to allow ClickFunnels to retrieve all your lists, everything from ActiveCampaign. It's going to let ActiveCampaign and ClickFunnels talk to each other. Then simply click the Create Your Integration. In the purposes of this video, I'm not going to do that. I actually have an integration with ActiveCampaign already right here. So we'll just go into a funnel. Once you're integrated, you go into your funnel and you set up the integration on the page there. So we're going to use this particular funnel, which is the one that we've been using for this demonstration. And then simply go to your page editor right here. So on this page, we can select our integrations tab from the settings right here. And then we go to our drop down, select the integration that we have. You'll see all the integrations you currently have. As you can see, I have quite a few. And then you simply select your ActiveCampaign. And then you can select what you want to do. If you want to add a tag, add them to a list, remove them from a list, or remove a tag. In this case, we're just going to add to a list. And then you're going to select the list that you're going to want to add them to. In this case, I don't actually have any lists in this particular account. It's just a test account. But you, in this case, will be able to do that and then simply connect the page once you've done that, and that's it. What will happen is when a person opts in, that information will be passed over to your ActiveCampaign. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. You will need to create a list inside of ActiveCampaign. You'll also need to have a form for ClickFunnels to be able to reach out and grab and integrate with. Those two pieces of information need to be set up on that side. And of course, you'll do that following their tutorials on that particular step. So Glenn, did you have any feedback you wanted to share about this procedure?
No, sir, you knocked it out of the park. I appreciate that. We have a question coming in from John today. Are you going to show us where we can find setting up our stats again?
Absolutely, I can do that. So if what you mean by setting up your stats, I'm not sure, but if you're looking at statistics for the specific page here, you can see under the stats here at the top. And if you're looking for whatever pages are actually in your funnel here, you can see the stats on those specific pages. If you have a split test in place, you can see the variation and the control just by dropping that down. Any other pages that you add to the funnel here will also be available. For example, if you have pages that are inside the funnel at the, I probably went back to the, nope, I didn't. Okay, cool. So if you add a new step and it's in the other funnel steps, which will be momentarily, it'll create a new area for you to be able to stand by here while and you'll be able to see the statistics for the pages there as well. So you can see that this set up another area for those particular statistics, and you'll be able to see it there. Hopefully that helps. And then also date ranges, you can do that up here. You can start from the beginning of your funnel, whatever. Also your UTM parameters, you can search by those and see what type of data is being filled out from these particular steps. So hopefully that helps. Glenn, did you have any feedback or is there any follow-up on that particular question?
Awesome. There's no follow-up just yet. Actually, there is. So I was creating work and I was missing a step. That's all he said.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
John, if you need any further assistance with that, please feel free to let us know and we'd be happy to answer that for you. We do have a question from Josh Kimber today about utilizing Google Analytics and UTM codes. Josh, I would highly suggest opening up a support ticket with our support desk, and they'd be able to further look into the issue that you're experiencing. We have an individual asking, what is funnel scripts?
Okay. Funnel scripts is a application that basically writes the copy for your funnels. You will go through a series of steps. You'll answer some questions, and when it finishes up, it's actually going to write the emails and write the page copy for you. You just simply copy that, paste that onto your pages, and of course read through it and make any adjustments you feel are necessary. But that's in a nutshell what funnel scripts is. It's actually a really awesome piece of software that helps you with the creative side of your funnel building process. So, Glenn, did you have any feedback or anything you wanted to share about funnel scripts?
Awesome. It's not a tool that I've specifically used myself. However, I know a lot of people have had great success with writing copy with it, so I highly suggest checking it out. We have a question from Andrew today. If you click on a funnel step to view it, does your view show under statistics?
That will depend on where you view it. So if you go to the URL itself, if I go to this URL, that's actually the URL for the page. So this is going to show a stat on this particular page. Right, as you can see here, we have a unique page view as well as a regular page view. Now let's say, for example, I were to go back to that and I were to click on that once again. And we're going to go out to this particular page and we're going to close this out and then go back to our stats. We take a look here, you'll see that I now have 2 page views, but I only have 1 unique page view. And the reason for that is it's actually tracking my IP address and not telling me or telling the system that a different person has arrived, but yet we still got some traffic from that specific piece of information. So that's the first thing that you're going to notice here. The second thing with tracking is if you go back out to the funnel itself and you preview the page. Okay, so for example, if we use this URL, this is actually a preview tab, and you can tell up here in the URL, it actually says preview as well at the end there. This is actually not going to show in your statistics as a page view because you're previewing the page. So if you go to the live page, yes, you're going to see your statistics change. If you go to the preview, you're not. Hopefully that answers your question. Glenn, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Perfect. I think that's summed it up adequately for Andrew. If you have any further questions, please let us know and we'd be happy to further assist. We have a follow-up on funnel scripts. Is it for emails or is it for landing pages as well? Funnel scripts can be used for sales letters, sales scripts, as well as webinar slides. So it's not solely for just email use. Checking to see if we have further questions just yet. Okay, Andrew says, that makes total sense, thank you. And I've got one more question. What's the best way to make a free plus shipping funnel offer?
Okay. The first thing is to create the funnel. Obviously, you can go into the funnel builder and you can create a template, a sales funnel template, or you can just build out the pages from scratch. And in this case, what we need here just to complete this particular funnel is going to be an order page and wherever membership area that you want. But in this case, we'll just keep it simple. We can add an order page to this one. And in this case, we'll go ahead and add that under the sales tab. And then what we want is, anything really, any particular order page. In this case, I'm going to use the two-step order form where they give me the contact information. And we won't need the opt-in page if we were to use that. It's up to you if you want to. Doesn't really per se matter for functionality. So once we get inside, you'll see here that you can set this up now however you want. You can just integrate your autoresponder on this, or you can integrate whatever. So once you've created your product, go here inside of this, and you just simply put the price for your shipping as your price name. So in this case, we'll call this shipping. And we'll use Stripe for that. And a one-time payment. And in this $4.95 or whatever we're going to charge for our shipping is what we'll put there. Select our currency. And then we can go down to our payment plan. If we have a payment plan option, whatever it might be, if we want to set up a subscription with that, we can. But in this case, we're just going to do a one-time payment of $4.95 and then create that product. We can set up an email integration, whatever it is that we will need to do there. And it does that to me quite well. And then we'll go down to the bottom, create the product. That'll work. And there we go. So now we have $4.95 on there that we can charge, and then we can do whatever we wanted. If we were going to send out whatever product this is via email or the mail, that's what we would do. Simple as that. And then obviously you'd put in your OTO after that by adding a new step, which will then bring them to that and obviously optimize your funnel. So this is how easy it is to actually set up a free plus shipping offer. You can do this on any order page you choose. If you're looking for more information on how to structure that, that's something I would definitely reach out to the Facebook community about and see if anybody has any input in whatever niche you are working in. Maybe there's a funnel in the marketplace you can go check out and do a real quick search inside the marketplace for a keyword in your niche and see if any funnels pull up that are doing a free plus shipping offer there as well. That's marketplace.clickfunnels.com that you can do that. As far as that goes, any feedback from Glenn? Do you have anything you wanted to share?
No, sir. That was awesome. We appreciate that. We have some questions coming in from Facebook, so let me jump over to there. Tim would like to know, what services can I use to send out postcards automatically?
Okay, so postcard delivery services, if you, ShipStation, I believe, will do that if you have sent those postcards into their system. We also have, is it ZenDirect, if I'm not mistaken, is one that sends out postcards, and you can use Disdelivered and Kunaki. I believe both of those also send out postcards. And then a quick Google search will yield some pretty reliable sources that will do that as well. And then maybe Zapier will be able to give you a simple integration that you can use to send that out. So just integrating your funnel with Zapier, you can do right over here inside the settings, right down here toward the bottom. You can see Zapier here, and you can set up a basic Zap to send that information over to whatever fulfillment company that is that you have. If you chose to go with one other than the one that we directly integrate with, which is the ones that we previously mentioned, being ShipStation, Disdelivered, Kunaki, and ZenDirect. So hopefully that helps. Glenn, did you have any other off the top of your head that you're aware of?
That's actually awesome. I've never personally tried to send out automatic postcards through any of our integrations, so that is all new to me and fantastic. Jodine would like to know, I did a live Facebook yesterday. I had spammers come on and try to sell a couch. How can I block them during my live webinar, or can I do that after?
That is a really, really good question. I guess the best way to do that would be to have a moderator in the Facebook chat there that will just delete the comments from the thread and then block them from your community if that's what they're trying to do. So outside of that, that's definitely a question that I would definitely reach out to others in the Facebook community, see if they're having that problem, and find out if there's any solutions that they have for that as well. Glenn, did you have any feedback that you wanted to share about that?
Awesome. Other than taking away their access to the webinar itself via blocking them from your group, reaching out to our Facebook community group would be an excellent resource as well. Igor would like to know, how do I add size options, medium or large, etc., on products?
Okay, so as far as that goes, you would need to actually set up an individual product for each of those sizes. So to give you an example, number one here, if we go into an order page, and if I'm not mistaken, there might be a script in Funnel U that does this, but don't quote me on that. However, if you were to come in here and say, for example, this shipping, we wanted this to be size small or whatever it is, we'll just call this a small, and that's going to be $14.95 for our small t-shirt. Okay, we'll just call it a t-shirt for the example. Now this one, we're going to go with large, just call this large. And you can do this with as many sizes options as you have. And then just keep in mind that every single one of these options is going to actually add another line to your page. So adding an enormous amount of options will yield you a pretty interesting result on that page. This is probably going to crash on me because I don't have that. Yep, sure is. But it'll fix it right here. So we'll call this one $17.95, just like so. And then we'll go down to the bottom, create that product. So as you can see here, this particular product page has two products. One is a small, one is a large, and these will actually show up and they'll be able to select whichever one of those they want via radio button. And I'll show you what that looks like here on the actual live page. And you can't see that. So we'll go out to that one there. And we'll just throw some stuff in there. Oops, I missed one. There you go. So you can see here, small and large, and then they can select whichever one that is, and it will add down here to the total. There's also a script in Funnel U, so if they wanted 3 small, they can select that as well if you were a member of that and using those particular scripts. So hopefully this answers your question. Glenn, did you have any feedback you wanted to share about that?
The Funnel University code you're looking for, CF Cart Mode, you're able to utilize that on your page, and then you're able to select a quantity or like a size variable. Other than that, you could utilize the setup that Drew just showed you, and hopefully soon we might have new features coming out in regards to an order form, but we will see. I have a few more questions coming in from Facebook. This one's from Amy. Does ClickFunnels integrate with Webinar Ninja?
There is not a direct integration with Webinar Ninja, but I don't know for sure. But I think Zapier actually does. So if you have basically just integrate with Zapier on, just go to Zapier and set up an account, and you'll be able to send the information from ClickFunnels over to Webinar Ninja's platform. If I'm not mistaken, last time I was in Zapier, I do believe that I did see a Webinar Ninja there. Now, I don't believe, I could be mistaken as well, but I don't think we actually have the direct integration. I'll check that now and see. No, we do not have a direct integration. So the Zapier route will be the best route to go on that one, as well as any other options that might be available inside of Webinar Ninja. I'm not familiar with their platform, so I don't know if there's another way to be able to set it up to where you can use ClickFunnels on the front end to deliver traffic to those webinars. Glenn, did you have any feedback you wanted to share about Webinar Ninja?
Zapier actually does have a Zap for Webinar Ninja. It is in beta right now, so I'm not sure of the full functionality of it, but like I said, it is in beta, so that's something worth exploring. Amy does have another question. With my webinar funnel, I have a page that I want to tie to another funnel. How can I do that?
It depends on what you mean by tied to another funnel. However, if, for example, you wanted them to click on a button, if you go into your page, you just simply go to the URL for that specific page or the funnel step that page is under. So we'll use this funnel step right here. And let's say, for example, I wanted to go from one of my funnels to that funnel. We'll go to our previous webinar demonstration funnel. And when somebody clicks on the button on this page, I want to take them over to the funnel that we just created, right? So we simply open up that button there, set an action. We can go to our website URL, open in the same or a new tab. We'll go with a new tab on this one just for demonstration, and then save that. And you'll see here that if they click on that button, they'll be able to go over to that other page. Now, another option that you have, say, for example, if you wanted them to redirect to a page after they register for a webinar, you could actually put a countdown timer on a page that will redirect them at the end of the expiration. So that particular person lands on that page, gets confirmation, redirects after 5 to 10 seconds. Same concept. You just simply select a timer, add it to your page. You can hide the timer if you don't want it to be on the page. But the functionality will still work. And you just simply go in and set redirect to a URL and then place your URL in that timer. That's another option that you have. You can also do it here under your general by simply redirecting them on the submission. So when they submit the registration, that will redirect them to another page, and you just simply place the URL there on the page that you want them to go to once they've submitted any information it is on this particular page. That's how that will trigger there. There's probably an infinite number of ways that you could do this as well. These are just a couple right off the top of my head. Glenn, did you have any feedback that you wanted to share about that process?
That's great. Yeah, you can utilize hyperlinks to button actions, timer redirects, and or the overall redirect for the page. If you still see that not working, I would suggest opening up a ticket with support. It could be something as simple as not deleting the hashtag from the beginning of your URL, or possibly another issue. But I would go ahead and open up a ticket with support for them to assist you with that further. We have a question about traffic coming from Facebook. Is there any way in which traffic coming from Facebook to my opt-in page promoting ClickFunnels Affiliate Bootcamp free course that they don't have to put in their email twice?
So as far as putting in, I'm assuming that the question is, can I send them through my funnel to the Affiliate Bootcamp without them having to create the membership for the Affiliate Bootcamp? That's no. The Affiliate Bootcamp is a membership area. So when they get there, it's going to feel like they're actually creating or opting in twice or putting their information in twice, when they're actually just creating a membership to the boot camp to start their 100-day drip on that. So having a opt-in page on the beginning of it and then having them go to that on the secondary is two completely different processes. Now, if you had it set up where it was your funnel, then ClickFunnels would actually cookie them all the way through the steps, and it would actually populate the information they'd put. So if they put their name and their email address on a previous step, it would populate into those fields automatically. It's not going to do that by passing them from one funnel to a funnel on another account. So hopefully that helps clear that up. Glenn, did you have any feedback about that?
No, sir, I do not. We have a question from Andrew. I'm selling clothing in an e-commerce business. Should I sell one product and make a funnel or a few funnels based on the products? I think I would sell highly or make a funnel with an e-commerce store.
That's a pretty good question to ask. What I would do is I'd actually reach out to our Facebook community on that, simply because strategizing here on the webinar is not something that we're actually able to do. But our Facebook community has a lot of people who I'm pretty sure have already experienced what you're going through and made that choice, and can give you some direction and some feedback as to what they've experienced. And then you can make a decision on which direction you'd want to go as well from there. The funnel obviously is personal choice of ours. You can also build up the storefront templates inside of ClickFunnels and have them click and then go through the funnel for that specific product. It's just up to you and your strategy on how that works. So test it. Obviously, testing the waters is always good advice. See what happens on a funnel, see what happens on a storefront, and go from there. So, Glenn, did you have anything you wanted to share about that?
A great thing about our Facebook community as well is chances are someone has already tried what you're looking at doing. So depending on your niche, I would possibly reach out to the community group and see if anyone's able to give you exactly what you're looking for, essentially. Being able to see the split test variation of a funnel set up with just one product against the funnel set up with multiple products. I'm sure that there are plenty out there that people would be willing to share. We have a question from Facebook from Luca. Have you ever tried a crowdfunding funnel?
I have not. I'm pretty sure there are people who have. That again is going to be a good question to reach out to the Facebook community and see if anybody has any feedback for you. If you haven't already done so, there's well over 100,000 people in that group who've all done a vast cornucopia of different types of funnels, different types of offers, and tested the waters for you. And a lot of them are really awesome people, and they really like helping others succeed as well. So that's a really good spot to start. And again, like I said, I've personally never done it. Glenn, maybe you've got some feedback on that.
I haven't personally done it either. I have seen individuals trying it. Mostly that was involved with like custom donations and stuff, and that required custom code. But that would be dependent on what your individual goals are. We have a question from Leo from the Facebook group. How would you build a subscription box funnel?
Okay, so subscription box, I'm assuming like if you were sending people a box of chocolates every month, you just wanted them to come into your funnel and go through that process. Now, essentially what that is just a simple subscription. You would need to, of course, identify what your box is, all that kind of stuff. How are you going to ship it out? All those logistics on the back end. But just for all intensive purposes, if a person were to sign up with your service, you were to drop ship it from Amazon. Okay, so what you would simply do is just create a very simple funnel, very simple like what we have here, collect their information, and then take an order. Now, the only difference is from what we've demonstrated so far on this particular webinar is in these product settings is you want to set up a subscription for your product. So in this case, we're going here and edit. Using Stripe, like we're doing here, you want to make sure that the subscription product is set up in Stripe itself so that Stripe has that plan. And then what you do is you either select your payment plan or you select your subscription. In this case, we'll go with subscription, and we'll call it a box of chocolates. And here under our Stripe plan, just go in and select whichever one that you have selected for that particular plan. And it's going to do a recurring billing on that particular product based off the settings that you have in this case, Stripe. Depending on your payment processor, this will be different. Then, of course, if you have physical products here, so shipping, ShipStation, for example, is if you're storing your whatever box it is that you're shipping on. If we have a box of chocolate sitting over there at ShipStation, and every time an order comes in, we'd want to integrate that here so that the system actually communicates over with ShipStation and ships out that particular item. You'd simply just select all the relevant information for this particular integration. I don't have anything set up in the demo account that I have integrated with my account for ShipStation, so there's nothing showing up. However, you just simply populate all that information there, or you drop ship it from wherever you're sending it from, then update that product, and away you go. It's simple as that. And then get to marketing, and you'll get, in this case, $14.95 every 30 days, and then go from there. So hopefully that helps. Glenn, did you have any feedback you wanted to share about that?
Awesome. As Drew stated, just make sure with each individual payment gateway, you set up the product appropriately. Each individual payment gateway has different methods of setting up subscription products and fulfilling them within ClickFunnels. And you can find all of those guides within docs.clickfunnels.com as well. We have a question from Teresa today. Can you tell me when adding a subdomain to ClickFunnels, what you would call it in Cloudflare? So my main site is teresamulter.com, and I named the subdomain goals.teresamulter.com, but it's not registering ClickFunnels. If you see that your subdomain is not registering within ClickFunnels, Teresa, I would open up a support ticket. So one of our support agents would be able to go thoroughly through what you're experiencing. Please know that it can take up to 48 hours sometimes for domains to populate within ClickFunnels, and then another 24 to 48 for your SSL certification to validate as well. So we have a question from Pete. Have you heard anything negative, or positive rather, about AppTrend's Spotify plugin to bring ClickFunnels product orders into Shopify? Or any other suggestions to bring ClickFunnels orders into Shopify?
As far as bringing orders from ClickFunnels into Shopify, I've actually never attempted to do that. If I were to do it, what I would just do is download the product orders from the order page. If I were to go to my personal order page and then upload that into the Shopify system. As far as using any applications go, I don't have any personal feedback that I can give, positive or negative, with reference to those. So Glenn, did you have anything on those particular plugins?
I know most clients in the past have utilized just downloading CSV files and uploading that into Shopify. Zapier also has a Shopify Zap that you could possibly set up to push your data across. However, I haven't personally used it, so I cannot give you a personal testimony as far as that. We have a question from Shane Baker today. As a photographer, I have a few goals. Can you give me a brief high-level look at how ClickFunnels could help with the following? Number one, growing my email list, and number two, retargeting from Facebook and website traffic.
Okay, so as far as growing your email list, ClickFunnels lends itself flawlessly to that particular system. So essentially here, if you're just looking to build an opt-in page and a thank you page and get to work, all of your contacts will actually be stored here underneath the contacts tab within your account. Now, if you have Actionetics or if you have a third-party autoresponder, you can trigger your autoresponder campaigns, your email lists, to go out to those specific subscribers to get them to purchase your services or your products, whatever it might be. And then go forward from there. Now, as far as retargeting goes, retargeting is not something that is obviously what ClickFunnels does. That's something that your third-party applications, Facebook, is going to do by sending the ad in front of your audience over and over and over again, just to get the repetition so that they see your page. Once they click on it, the experience that they have is going to be based off, obviously, how you set up your opt-in page and then your funnel flow here. So the split or the retargeting wouldn't have much to do with your choice of platform as much as the outcome of what happens after they click on it does. And ClickFunnels obviously is going to be your best choice for that. So Glenn, did you have any feedback on that?
That is awesome. Other than what you just stated about growing your list, unfortunately, I do not have any further insight on retargeting Facebook traffic. Pete has a follow-up question. He said he saw you had a Shopify option in your product shipping setup, but he does not have that in his account. Is that something that he can get turned on?
Okay, so when you're looking at some of the integrations and some of the menus and layouts that we have in our accounts are admin accounts, and they send out, we get a lot of different options available that are not fully rolled out yet. So having it turned on in your account is not something that we right now have the ability to do. It's just in ours because we have that level of account. We're admin accounts. So it's something that will be available at a future date. It's just not something that we have yet. Glenn, did you have any feedback or any insight as to something maybe I don't know about that?
And don't worry, when it does get finally released, I'm sure that there will be a large announcement within our Facebook community group.
This is true.
That's going to be
a very
rather
true.
awesome thing. So Simon would like to know if I have a basic membership site with $100 per month subscription on Stripe, and I want to have the ability to have my customers upgrade to a platinum plan to increase the price to $200 a month. What would be the best way to do this? And would the customer need to re-enter or reapply credit card details?
If you wanted to upgrade them, personal opinion on that would be to add another level in your membership area, just by creating the next step up, and then they can increase their payments. So if you go to a members area here, I'll show you how that would be set up. As far as getting their payment details, you can actually set up a one click to upsell inside of your members area where they click on that and it will charge their card. One thing to keep in mind is that when they click on it, it charges their card. They might not be expecting that. And I know I've been in membership areas where I clicked a button and it got charged and I was not pleased because I was just clicking to find out what it was about. So just make sure that they understand that they will be getting charged for that particular setting. Now, when we add in a new lesson section, say for example, we want to call this Platinum, and then we can add any lessons that we want to that Platinum section here. And select whatever template we choose, and then voila. So this right here, we would simply create the access level for our box of chocolates in this case, and just randomly select that. So it will be locked for anybody who did not actually purchase that particular level of access. Now, inside the membership area, we set up our button for a one-click upsell inside the first membership section. Just opening up the editor and following the procedure for that, setting that up. I'm not going to do that on the webinar because it'll take more time than we actually have left to be able to walk through that. And then I'd rather kind of get a help desk article about that that'll walk you detail through, because it's actually pretty cool option. Then they click on that and they'll be able to access that Platinum area. Now, in your question, if you're referencing people who are already paying and you wanted them to just be bumped up, that's personally, I wouldn't do that. I'd let all the people who are in at the level that they're in stay, give them the option of upgrading if they choose, and do it through this method. Glenn, did you have any feedback about that?
I would say one-click upsell is the best way to possibly do that. However, that will show twice on their billing statements because it would be charged reoccurring for both products if that's the way you have it set up. We have a question about e-commerce shops. How can we create an e-commerce shop and get paid from PayPal?
Okay, so I mean, obviously, the first thing that you want to do is create your page. In this case, if you wanted to use, for example, a shopping portal, and select a template for that, and then integrate that with PayPal. So the first step here, we can go into our miscellaneous pages, and there's a lot of pages in here lend themselves perfectly. Let's see this process. I know where you're at. There we go. We'll use this one. Here's a good page for a store selling some supplements by default, right? So in this case, what we would do is up here in our settings is we would want to integrate PayPal. All the way down here on the bottom, you can see here our third-party membership access, adding the product here to this particular page, following our article in the help desk about integrating PayPal. So obviously you're going to set the product up on the PayPal side. You're going to get the information from PayPal to bring over to this particular integration, which it just popped up when I closed the window. But you'll set that up here and you'll see your products being listed. And then what you could do is take those URLs to those specific products on your page, which looks like this in this particular template. Obviously, you can customize these however you like. And when you click on that button, this button will actually trigger your PayPal link that you have in the settings. You'll see that link when you set up when you follow the tutorial. So what it'll do is it'll take the person out to PayPal. They'll be able to actually complete the purchase for this through PayPal's page, and then they'll be redirected back to your funnel here for whatever steps that you have sequentially in the funnel, and then the PayPal IPN notification will let ClickFunnels know that sale was made, triggering any emails or anything that you have of that nature. So hopefully that kind of gives you a starting point. Hopefully that helps. So Glenn, did you have any feedback you wanted to share about that?
Awesome. So he had a follow-up question of, can we use PayPal for payments? Yes. So PayPal is a payment processor you can utilize for payments. However, it is not a direct API integration. So all payments will be processed externally to your ClickFunnels page within PayPal, and then routed back to your ClickFunnels page, depending on the URL you have set up. And all that can be seen within the PayPal tutorial. We have a few more questions coming in. We have about 3 more minutes left today. Just so you all know, we will be back tomorrow as well as Thursday at 4 p.m. So any questions we don't get to today, we'll be more than happy to answer tomorrow or Thursday for you. Ben would like to know, can you show me the best practice on setting up an Actionetics email header or footer with our logo for use as a template on future emails, specifically the funnel scripts template? Also, is there a best practice for sizing, resolution, or file types from JPEG or PNG?
As far as best practice on file types, I mean, I'm a fan of JPEG images. If you wanted to create a template for a specific funnel, so they go up here. Hold on, let me get into position to be able to do that. Send, and then we'll add a step. So this will be our template. And then you said the funnel scripts one. Whoops, what happened? And then we'll go here. Set the funnel scripts template. So for example, this one, if you wanted to add in your footer, whatever it was that you were setting up on this particular page, you simply set this up how you want to, create whatever images that you want inside of here. And then the very next thing that you want to do is actually save this as a template right here. But once you've saved it as a template, you'll go into your templates. Okay, so right here where it says My Templates, and then you'll be able to activate that template. Once you've activated that template, it'll become available for you to select as your basic email template for that. Now, that's pretty much the only process that we have in here to be able to accomplish that. Now, if you're looking for advice on how big to make your text, how big to make your images, that kind of thing, what I would do is go out to Google and find out if there's any white papers out or anything where people are just kind of sharing what their statistics are on what font types and things of that nature, and would be beneficial. And again, our Facebook community is another one that is a really good community to reach out for specific information, see if there's anybody in your niche working in this, and give you some of the ideas that they're implementing as well. So Glenn, did you have any feedback or anything on that particular process?
Awesome. In regards to your layout, sizing, resolution, etc., a lot of that could have to do with how you're planning on delivering your funnel as well. If this is primarily going to be a mobile viewed funnel, if it's going to be a desktop view, tablet view, etc., everything uses different sizing and resolution types. So most of it is mobile responsive within ClickFunnels, but if you're tailoring a funnel to a specific variant, then you might want to look further into that. Unfortunately, we are presently at 45 after the hour, which would conclude our time today with you all. We thank you all for reaching out and joining us today. Any questions that we didn't get to, please feel free to join us tomorrow, and we'd be happy to answer them for you.
All right, everybody, thank you for coming out. We do appreciate your time, and let's have an awesome 2018.